6 months without the grocery store. That's my challenge. So far, I am now on week 9. I believe it is week 9 now. And so far, we are doing good. However, this week, I failed. I did go to the grocery store. I think you guys are going to agree with me, though, that it was necessary. I'll get to that in a bit. A recap for the last week is that for the most part, I have done really well. Still trying to work through the stores of the canned goods, those jalapeno peppers, those plums. I haven't touched the plums in a couple weeks, so I need to start doing some of those recipes that you guys had given me. Maybe we'll put them in muffins or something. The last couple of weeks has been incredibly busy. Summer has just been nuts for us. I have been so tired, so not going to the grocery store has been fairly easy. Again, I will get to that one time. Oh my goodness. Sorry, just going to move there. The sun was blasting in my face. So the garden right now is popping. It's doing really well. We're getting tons of lettuce and kale to the point where I'm able to save some as well. Our raspberries are kind of right at the end. They're still trailing along. I thought they were at the end last week, and I still got a decent amount this week. So I'm really happy about that. But we have them every day in our oatmeal. It's so lovely, those fresh raspberries, and I'm gonna miss them a lot when they're all done. So that's our major kind of source of produce right now, is lettuce, kale, and some fruit from the garden. Currants just came in, so I've been picking a lot of currants, but I'll take you guys for a tour again and show you what's happening in the garden. As for this week for meals, for our breakfast, it's mainly oatmeal. Occasionally it's French toast as well. If you guys have seen the past videos, you'll know that my in-laws are very generous and bring us eggs often. So we don't have to worry about eggs. So I'll often do French toast as well, or pancakes. But that's typically our breakfast. Lunches are almost always leftovers, and dinners, I will show you guys right now what we did for dinners this week. So I did a chicken with the cowboy candy this week, and it turned out really well. It was really tasty. Not spicy at all, so we really enjoyed that. And then I did do a meatloaf earlier this week. I'll show this a little later, but I had leftover meatloaf and leftover taco soup, so I just went ahead and made that into tacos. I also did a peanut butter tofu pasta, which was really tasty, and there's that meatloaf. I actually did that earlier in the week. It was really good. Okay, so in the garden this morning, and I'm going to show you guys what's going on. Okay, so this is our lettuce and our kale patch. I've got beets in here also, as well as zucchinis. Right now, all my zucchinis and squashes are just putting on male flowers. I think that's just to attract pollinators in before they set off their female flowers. So hopefully the female flowers come soon and we get lots of zucchini. But right now, tons of lettuce. You can see over there, tons of lettuce and tons of kale down here as well. To the point where I've actually been able to freeze some of this, which is really nice. I love being able to freeze kale and greens for overwinter use in stir fries and that sort of thing. So I love being able to put some of this away. Tomatoes are coming along, doing really well. They're nowhere near ripe yet, but that's okay. They will be probably in a couple weeks maybe. We'll start getting some cherries, but for now they're coming along, which is good. Our beans are all flowering and putting on little beans, so we are expecting a nice bean harvest soon, just not quite yet, unfortunately. So pretty soon for the beans, just not quite yet. We do have some in our containers on our patio. And I love the blossoms on these pole beans. They are so pretty. Our peaches are really close to being ripe. So we're actually going to pick these soon because the squirrels, if we leave them too much longer, will get all of these and they will ripen off the tree. So we might leave these a couple more days, maybe one more week, just because they're not super big just yet. So they may need to wait a little bit to get a little larger, but the ones near the top are bigger. So I think we're going to pick those first. So this is now my pathway into my garden. It's almost completely blocked off. And I don't know if you can see these little guys here. I also always have little spiders in the morning blocking my path. There's 2 of them here. So we're just going to remove them so I can get in. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that other one, but there. Okay. All right. So this is the path into the garden. Oh my goodness, there's still more. The tomatoes have overgrown their cages. I needed bigger tomato cages. I just did not want to invest in them this year. I need to do something maybe with ties to tie them up because they just get so large. They're as tall as I am. And all of my grapes, we have got so many grapes this year. We are just going to be inundated. So this is going to be something that I'm sharing with neighbors. And this is the trellis that I just walked through. I'll show you guys. We have so many grapes. So many grapes absolutely everywhere. I've got these all out front as well. So it's just Grape City, which is just such a blessing. Unfortunately, there's something going on with my mic, so I am just going to voice over this. I have a lot of dill in the garden, and I am hoping to make some dill pickles this year. The last time I made dill pickles was 2021. We don't eat them a ton, so we don't make them every year, but we have lots of dill, so I definitely want to preserve that. Moving on, you can see all of these tomatoes. It's kind of where my path ends. I cannot get through the garden anymore here because the tomatoes are taking over, as well as this pumpkin. Again, this pumpkin only seems to have male flowers on it, so hopefully some females soon. So these are our cucumbers. They are doing really well. We have tons of flowers on them, so I'm hoping we get a decent amount of cucumbers. And these are the beans that I was picking from. So actually my husband picked these this morning. So we're finally getting some beans. Everything on our patio is doing so well. And these are the peppers that we're growing right now. These ones are little pimento peppers, so they grow kind of round like this and then they'll get red. They're really cute. And I've never grown these ones before, so I'm excited to try them out. These ones I believe are the Pavlova variety, and they're a mixed pepper, so this one almost looks like a Hungarian pepper to me. But they're coming along. I obviously need to grow a little bit bigger. So that's what the garden's doing right now. Things are still coming along. So we're kind of really focusing a lot on the produce that's in the garden. And like I said last week, we sometimes barter or are gifted with things. I also have mushrooms growing in the back. They're King Strophoria mushrooms, and I can harvest them every now and a bit. Currants, like I said, are coming along, and the raspberries are just ending. Blackberries should be coming soon, and our peaches. So very excited about the peaches. So I'm going to explain what happened with the grocery store. So our farms in this area, I normally would absolutely go to the farms to get corn. And I do every year. I never buy corn at the grocery store. However, all the farms in my area are now selling corn for $12 for a dozen, which is just an insane price to me. It's absurd. Even last year at $6 for a dozen, I was like, holy moly, that's kind of expensive. But now to bump it up to double the price, $12 for 12 corn, so $1 a cob. And I just couldn't bring myself to get it, and I've been humming and hawing, do I really want to get corn and to preserve? Anyways, our grocery store put on a sale for 12 cobs for $1.88. That works out to, I believe, about 15 cents a cob. So 15 cents a cob as opposed to $1 a cob. My brain, I couldn't do it. I was just like, you know what? I have to go get that corn. So the morning the sale started, I went and I waited at the doors for that store to open up. and I went and got corn, and I got 7 dozen. And that's just because that's how much I could fit. That's how many bags I brought. So I got 7 dozen of corn. And then I went back later in the day, and because I probably was not the only one to do that, they put a limit on that corn to only getting 12. So that's kind of sad, and I'm really glad I hopped on that sale as soon as I could, because there was lots of corn. Like, when I went back, there was still 2 huge bins of corn, so I don't think they really needed to limit it that much. Anytime there's a good sale at the store, they limit it. You cannot stockpile at all from that store. So it's unfortunate, and I'm glad that I hopped on that immediately. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten that good of a sale. So I was able to can this up for the future. So from my last video, I talked to you guys about the market and stockpiling and going and getting all the produce that I would normally preserve for my family at a decent price. And you guys were resounding, yes, go do that, stockpile for your family. You're gonna get better food, more local for a better price, absolutely. So I thought you guys would probably be okay with me grabbing that sale for corn to preserve for my family for later. So the parameters that I'm going to put on the corn, as well as on the market, are that yes, I can go and buy this and preserve for my family. However, it will not be eaten until after the challenge is over. So I am still working through the stockpile that I have and all of the food that I want to go through, but I'm still preserving for later. So I think that makes sense. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the grocery store purchase, if that made sense to you, or if that's breaking my rules about not going to the grocery store. Because technically I'm doing this to save money, and I was able to get those jars for 30 cents for a jar. I canned it myself for 30 cents, as opposed to if I had went and bought store-bought corn, that would be $3. So that amount of corn would be $3 for me, and I jarred it for 30 cents. So what is that, like 10 times the savings? So let me know in the comments how you feel about that, if that was right for me to do, to break my goal and go to the grocery store to get that corn, even though I said no grocery stores. So let me know how you feel. I feel like I did the right thing to save money, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. So like I said, I bought 7 dozen. However, I did give some away to my in-laws as a thank you for always bringing us eggs, as they had been buying the $12 corn. And this made 27 pints of corn, and that was 5 dozen that I canned up. So as for next week, I do have the plan to go to the market. I could not make it happen this week. Life just lifed this week. It was busy. So I do have the plan to go next week. I have peaches on my list. Despite the fact that I have trees here, I want to can some. My kids love canned peaches. So these will probably be all fresh eating, and then I will jar some up for the winter. And then I will also buy a lot of beans. Again, the ones we grow in the garden will probably be all fresh eating. So I want to make sure beans are our favorite vegetable. So I want to freeze a whack load of it for the winter for ourselves. But store-bought beans in the winter are just, no, they're disgust for me. It's very disgusting. I don't like them. I feel like they have no flavor. I don't know why they're like that. Maybe picked too early, or done hydroponically. I find hydroponic vegetables don't have a lot of flavor to them. So I'm not sure why, but if we ever buy beans in the winter, they're just not very good. So I want to make sure that I'm buying local, fresh summer beans to preserve for the winter, and then we will eat what we have here. And then peppers is another one. I don't know if there'll be peppers there yet, or if they'll be priced appropriately, because they're just a little bit before their season. So I'll have to see. We do get a lot of people at that market coming from the Niagara region, so it's quite possible that they will have peppers there. So I will probably come back with a whack load of things. I will make sure to show you guys everything that I get. Also, this past 2 weeks, I've also kind of been cooking too much meat. So I've noticed that when I'm busy, I cook meat because it's just a lot easier. You throw some meat in the oven or on the barbecue, and then to do a couple sides, and that's it. It's not a lot of thought to it, where if I do a plant-based meal, I find that I have to put more thought into it just because I didn't grow up with plant-based meals. They're fairly new to me. So I have to put more thought into it. Loud engine. More chopping. My neighbor has his dune buggy out here, so off he goes. I'm gonna wait till that's gone. Anyways, so over the next coming weeks, I really need to do more plant-based meals, focus on plant-based because it's just cheaper. I also have way more beans, like a lot more beans and rice than I do meat. So that's gonna be my focus, is a lot more plant-based meals and then a lot more focusing on those preserves that I have to use up. So thank you guys again for joining me on this journey. If you're new to this, please make sure you check out this playlist with all of my previous week's updates. Thanks again for following along, and I'll see you guys next time.